Hello, On the Daily family. Welcome back to the show. In this episode, we are talking about the fear of investing. We're going to talk about like this idea that we want to change our life, but we're actually not doing anything different to make that happen. I'm going to kind of call you out a little bit. And it might sting, but as always, it's out of love. And honestly, it's just what needs to be said because I think that there's a lot of people who are like very ready to change their life. But the one thing that they haven't done is this thing, and it's in the way. So let's talk about it in this episode. If you are trying to level up your life, if you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to live a life that is more aligned with everything you want to be and everything you are, then this episode is for you. Hey friend, welcome to On the Daily. I'm your host, Danielle McCleary, and I am a quantum business coach. I'm the host of this podcast. I'm a multi-six-figure entrepreneur, co-founder and president of Hype You Media, and CEO of Danielle on the Daily Coaching. What I'm really interested in is helping you live a life and have a business that is a full body yes. So through all of my education and all of my experience, I'm bringing you 2 episodes a week where I will guide you and give you the tools necessary to scale a massive, sustainable, and sexy business using your intuition, wealth energetics, and human design. What we can call it is business biohacking. So if you're down for that, then I say let's frickin' go. I'm so glad you're here. This episode is really coming from a place of love. But as usual, for me, a place of love is always as like real as I can make it for you. I've had a lot of conversations about this recently just because I think I'm selling a program and the program is not, $49. It's a $3,333 program. So there's a lot of price hesitation. And here is the thing about growth. Most people don't actually want to change their life. And I know I say that and you're like, that's not true, Danielle. Everyone wants to change their life. On a very surface level, yes, everyone wants to change their life, but no one actually wants to change their life. And the reason for that is because the way that you know that that's true is pay attention to the way people act when they are quote, willing to change, but then if the changing challenges their current pattern of behavior, watch how fast they drop off. Watch how fast it turns to crickets and ghosts. Like it's a real thing. And it's because most people are only willing to change as long as their current pattern of behavior is not challenged. And therefore, because the only way that you change is if your current pattern of behavior is challenged, that's why most people don't actually change. Most people just kind of run around in a circle like it's a hamster wheel and stay in the same place they've always been in. And I think that there's a real weird thing that happens on the internet because obviously like the algorithm is such a funny place. And it's only going to show you, I'm like putting quantum consciousness oil on right now for this episode. The algorithm's only going to show you what you like the frequency that you're putting out. It's actually very interesting because, they say like, oh, well, the algorithm's only going to show you what you're like thinking about most. But if we're thinking about that on an energetic perspective, it acts the same way that the universe does. Like the universe is only going to show you what you have capacity for. It's only going to reflect back to you what you're putting out. It's like a pond, right? Like I did an episode with my friend Kelly Balch about this like a couple months ago, and you should go check it out. But the universe is like a pond, right? So if you're like putting out into the universe, like you don't have to spend money. I don't want to spend money to make money. The universe is like going to reflect that back to you and be like, okay, well then you don't have to. And so that's kind of what the algorithm does. So I think a lot of people that are like, I don't think you should have to spend money to make money. What's being reflected back to you in your algorithm are people telling you that that's true. And I guarantee you, if you talk to any millionaire, any multimillionaire, like I am willing to bet that there is not a single millionaire or multimillionaire, billionaire out there who hasn't also invested thousands and thousands and hundreds and thousands and sometimes millions of dollars into the growth of their business, their mindset, themselves, etc. And there is one thing that like all successful people have in common, and it's that we believe in ourselves more than we fear failing. Maybe there's a couple things that we all have in common. That's one of them. Another thing we all have in common is that we think differently and our priorities are different. Like I would never wait until the end of all of my bills to make sure that I had enough money to invest in my business. Like the very first allocation of my budget is towards my business. And so I think a lot of people will be like, oh, well, we'll see if I have, it's tax. Like, oh my gosh, I got so much of that this year because Break the Matrix was around the same time as people were paying taxes. So many people were like, taxes really did me dirty this year. Like I don't have any extra to invest into my business. And I'm like, yo, that is that one thing that all millionaires and all of us successful people have in common is that like we invest in our business first, like full stop. Like the very first thing I consider is how much money I'm going to be investing into my business. So another thing I've gotten a couple times from people is like, oh, well, Break the Matrix is monthly payment. Even if you do the 12-month payment plan at $333, that's more than a car payment. And I'm like, yeah, duh, it's more than a car payment. What is more important to you, that you drive like a good car or that you have like a business that can sustain you long term? Like, and I know there's the argument of like, no, well, people need to get around. People need a mode of transportation. Yes. And if you're driving like a POS car that you don't want to be in and you want a nicer car, how do you think that's going to happen if you're not investing in your business to grow it? Like, these are all the inconsistencies that people really like, run into. And a lot of people are very stuck in a people pleasing mode, and they're very stuck in like a martyrdom. Like if I struggle, then everyone else won't have to, or I have to prove that I struggled to receive what I have. And I just don't believe that's true. And I think you'll find that the more like very successful people you talk to, we very much challenge that version of ourselves every single day. Like I challenge the version of myself that feels like I deserve to struggle. I challenge the part of my brain that is wired for lack or scarcity. Growing up with a mom who was like, my mom was a single mom until I was like 6, and she worked really, really hard and never had enough money. And I didn't realize it back then, but now I look back, like there were things that she made so many sacrifices, but it puts you into this mindset of lack. My dad, super successful on paper, but like never spent any money on himself, was literally like, quote, saving for retirement. The man died at 64 years old. He never even got to experience or to feel the benefit of how hard he worked. Like that's programmed to struggle. So in order for me to become successful, like I had to challenge that version of myself that was wired for scarcity and lack through my generational trauma. Like these are things that every successful person has in common. And the person who told you that you don't have to spend money to make money, they lied to you. Like they actually lied to you. It's not true. That is false. You do have to spend money to make money. And no, it's not going to feel good in your body. I'm a human design coach, so I talk a lot about human design and how for like, I'm a generator. The right decision is always a full body yes. Okay, but here's the caveat to that. The first time you do anything, it is never going to feel like a full body yes. It's going to feel scary as shit. It's going to stress you the fuck out. It's going to really send your central nervous system out of whack. And like, people will come to me and they'll be like, I want to invest, but it's so scary. Like, no shit, it's scary. Of course it's scary. It's scary because you've never done it. And that large amount of money leaving your bank account has not been normalized, right? The very first coaching program, not even coach, but the very first coaching program I invested in was $5,000. I did not have $5,000 at that point, but I did believe in myself more than I feared failing. And I put the very smallest monthly payment. I think the program was like a 4 or 5 month program. And I did a 12-month payment plan. So like I was willing to pay for that course like 6 months after it ended because I was so committed to where I was going. And I put it on a credit card. I didn't have any idea how I was going to pay it back, but that wasn't for me to decide. Like I just had to go all in on it, and I did. And I now then the next coach I hired was $10,000 and I paid in full. Like, it's just one of those things where but when I was doing it, I was so nervous. I felt so scared. I felt so wild, and like almost my central nervous system was like wired, like jacked. I didn't sleep for 2 days. And it's because that amount of money, $5,000 being invested into my business, had not been normalized yet. So I had to normalize it. The only way you are going to normalize that amount of money is by doing it. Like, I'm sorry, whoever told you that there are ways around it and like you should just wait until it feels like the right decision. You already know it feels like the right decision. Otherwise, you wouldn't have found it, right? You wouldn't have been clicking the sales page. Like, I'll use Break the Matrix as an example. Like, so many people, like, they clicked the sales page like 97 times, and I see those metrics. So like, I know who's clicking it more than once. Like, there are people who visited the sales page multiple times and didn't. And it's because they were like waiting for it to feel like a full body yes. It already felt like a full body yes, but then you let your ego take over and you let yourself overthink. And then you were like, oh, but it's a lot of money. I'm scared to invest. Of course you're scared. You haven't done it yet. So, you know, we talk about all these like somatic practices to like move like discomfort through our body, but sometimes the only way to find comfort in something is by doing it. The only way to become like for something to be normalized is by doing the thing. And I wish more people understood this, and I wish that the algorithm like wouldn't just show people the opposite because that's what they're hoping for. The algorithm is going to show you whatever you're hoping for. It's going to show you whatever you're putting out. So if you're putting out like everyone's broke, like the economy's in the toilet, like everything sucks. If you're putting that out into the world, that's exactly what's going to be reflected back to you through your algorithm, through the universe, right? You're going to be given that proof over and over and over again. Guess what? I don't ever see that on my feed. I don't ever see anyone talking about how horrible the economy is. I see people talking about how it has never been easier to make money. It has never been easier to become a millionaire. It has never been easier to sell a program. And that's true. I experience that every single day. Like, and it's because I don't allow those things on my algorithm, because I refuse to let those thoughts and those ideals and that mindset become my reality. Like, I'm unavailable for it. And this is something that all successful people have in common. They've become unavailable for anything less than the life that they want. And the boundaries they set are there, and they walk away. A lot of people will set boundaries and then they'll spend more time obsessing over the fact that nobody respects their boundaries. And it's like, if you're going to set boundaries, you have to set them and you have to walk away and you have to stop worrying about whether or not everyone's okay with them. Guess what? Most people not going to be okay with your boundaries, because they don't have those kind of boundaries. And if somebody doesn't have the same kind of boundaries you have, they're going to be very uncomfortable by your boundaries, because again, that's a very powerful mirror to be reflected in. You're looking at someone who has very strong boundaries and has started to grow their life and started to like build the existence that they want to build. You haven't done that yet. That's going to feel very uncomfortable. That is none of your business. Your job is to set the boundaries and walk away, and to make the standard for yourself and walk away. I unfollow people that have a mindset that I am not available for. Like, it's nothing personal. I still love them, but I'm just not interested in receiving that kind of energy into my life. And something that all successful people will tell you, like, you have to be willing to like eat your blind spots for breakfast. You have to be willing to challenge the parts of you that are afraid of growth. You have to be willing to invest, like to try something new, right? The thing you've been doing to change your life is not working. Otherwise, you would have a different life. It's just not working. This idea that like, oh, I'm just going to keep saving. Oh, I'm going to raise my credit score, and then I'm going to start investing in my business. No, you won't. No, you won't. You won't, because it's not about the credit score. It's not about how much debt you're in. It's not about the savings account. It's about the fact that you are so comfortable in chaos that the idea of anything else is unfamiliar, and you are scared of that. And it's going to feel scary until you make a different decision. It's going to scare the shit out of you until you choose a different path. Period. I posted a reel yesterday it was like a clip from Taylor Swift's song, Daddy, I Love Him. The one where she's like, I'll tell you something right now. I'd rather burn my whole life down than listen to one more second of all this bitching and moaning. And I literally put like me when people say that they want to. Also, my voice is beautiful. Thank you so much. I posted that and I wrote a caption over it that was like, me when people tell me that they want to change their life, but then do nothing to change it except what they've always done. Like that is the definition of crazy. And it's not going to feel normal. But if you've clicked a sales page 12 times, there's a reason for it. And that's the feeling you have to trust, not the feeling that happens after that, where your ego and your brain tries to be like, no, don't do it. It's scary. Of course, it's scary. Just like if you go to the gym, right? You decide that you want to get in shape and you get a gym membership and you start going to the gym. Is it going to feel easy? No, you're going to be sore as shit. You're going to have to do that thing where you go to sit down on the toilet and you like want to die because it's so uncomfortable. Going downstairs is a hard pass. Like, you have to go through those moments when you decide to get fit. If you decide to like start eating healthy and you have to give up and you decide you want to give up sugar, that's not going to feel good in your body for the first few days. It's going to feel fucking crazy because your body is addicted to sugar. Same shit. If you want to change your life and you want to start investing in your business, the only way you're going to do that is by doing it. The only way you're going to normalize that feeling okay in your body is by doing it. Period. And the person who told you that you don't have to spend money to make money lied to you. And I guarantee you they do not have a business that you'd want to switch with. So you have to change who you're getting advice from. You have to change who you look at. And I think a lot of people will get triggered by people like me saying what I say because they want to believe something else. But look at my life, look at my business, right? Like if that is a life or a business that you'd want, then you're listening to the wrong people. Like you're listening to the wrong people. It's really easy to stay in an echo chamber. It's really easy to just stay in a vacuum and just listen to people reflecting back to you the same shit that you want to hear. But an echo chamber is not conducive for growth. It's just not. So start listening to other people, start taking advice from different people, start watching people that maybe trigger you a little bit, because that trigger is a sign that something needs to heal. Okay. I love you. Today is a new moon in Taurus. Taurus is really here to like help you get clear on what your values are. Like, what are your values? What are you doing? Where are you going? And so if you're feeling this, like, I have to make a change feeling, that's Taurus. And it's like when a bull sees red, a Taurus new moon, a bull sees red, and the bull is ready to move. And you either move with it and stop resisting it, or it's like you're the person that's trying to like hold back a river. Like, it's just not going to work. It's going to be exhausting. You're going to burn out. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get hurt. So let go and flow, baby. Okay. I'll see you next week. Bye.